Matt Canada has been fired mere days after Mike Tomlin was being fairly steadfast in his support of the offense. So there we go. There's the statement from Mike Tomlin. Matt Canada has been relieved of his duties as offensive coordinator. I appreciate Matt's hard work and dedication, and I wish him the best moving forward in his career. What do you make of this decision?
Feels like it was 2 years too late. It feels like this should have been done a long, long time ago. And I'm not going to sit here and say that being an offensive coordinator, a play caller in the NFL is easy, but very clearly, like, Canada was not going in the right direction with this team. And it's always how should I say this? The most dangerous thing a franchise can do is kind of like drink their own Kool-Aid, right? I mean, like, if you happen to have the ball bounce your way a couple of extra times and you know that you're getting lucky here and there, the worst thing that you can do is totally buy into a lot of that luck and think it's replicable. Steelers, and I don't mean this as too much of an insult, because I still think Mike Tomlin is an incredible head coach, and what he has done over the last 2 decades in this league has been unbelievable when it's come to success. But certainly as of late, they've had a lot of luck, I think, to get to that streak of being above 500 or not below 500, right? And it just feels as though there was a big push to say, like, no, we're fine. No, Canada's good. The offense is good. We're good to go. Look at this. Look at our record. Look how we're winning these games. And it's really dangerous when you do that. I think that it's really dangerous when you're kind of like sipping the Kool-Aid of a team that you know that is playing above expectation, having a little bit more luck. Because you need luck to win in this league, but you don't want that to be a pivotal strategy of how you are winning games. You don't want it to be like, oh, okay, well, if luck's not on our side today, we're screwed. And it feels as though the Pittsburgh Steelers, defense is a little bit of a different story, but offense especially, if luck's not on their side on offense, not good. And it's for the last 2 years. And so that's why it feels as though the arrow has been pointed for a long time now, but Mike Tomlin put it off. And I think a record, wins and losses, that's all that matters. And I just coach, but I feel like he was kind of sticking a little bit with the offensive coordinator thing. To me, this is long overdue.
Yeah, no, I agree. And we talked about this a little bit on yesterday's show. Like, the Steelers and Tomlin were in a tricky position because I think a lot of Tomlin's mystique and like the reason that he has more success than a lot of other coaches is all the intangible stuff that is difficult to quantify, but definitely real. Like, as much as we want to focus on play calling, fourth down decision making, clock management in game, all this stuff, which is important, there has to be a huge element of leading a room, fostering a culture, getting people to buy in, like motivating a group of 90 people plus over the course of a week and sustaining that week on week on week, all this kind of stuff, right? And like, I don't know how much you disrupt that if you mess with the belief, right? Like, how much of that is simply everybody buying into what you're doing and saying, no, it doesn't matter how much we're getting ripped by the external noise, by the media, by everybody else. Like, we believe, so it's okay. But so if you fire a guy, you immediately say, actually, we don't believe. We recognize something is wrong. Does that erode everything? Like, does that pull the rug out from your entire thing that you've built up? This like fake belief system based off things that weren't necessarily there. Like, have you almost got to keep the blinkers on and say, we just have to get through to the other side because that's the only way this thing exists? But now he's obviously recognized, okay, I have to do this, even if it risks like undermining everything I've built up over the last 6 months.
Being able to admit mistakes is an important thing to do. Not just as a football coach, but also in life. You know, like, you've got to be able to understand that, like, you're not going to make perfect decisions all the time. And just because you had a belief in something doesn't mean that belief was necessarily wrong at the beginning, but you don't want to continue to go down a path that you know is not going the right direction out of stubbornness, right? You don't want to do things out of pride. And I'm not sitting here, I don't want to like sit here and make it like I'm accusing like Tomlin of this, and I don't know everything that's going on behind the scenes. I think there's a ton of things that go on behind the scenes of football team in an NFL operation that we don't hear about. But the on the field product was not good enough. Like straight up, that is. If you just want to judge it on how things came out on Sunday, sure, they were getting more wins than they probably should have been. But like even the offense, like really struggled most of the time. It was not efficient. It was not good. It was not progressive. It was often behind the times on a lot of things, refusing to attack over the middle of the field. And I don't know if that's a Kenny Pickett thing or a Matt Canada thing. I guess we're about to see. But right. I mean, just insane. I looked this up the other day. Pickett has actually, can't remember if I looked this up yesterday. I think I looked this up yesterday. Jimmy Garoppolo still has more throws over the middle this season than Kenny Pickett does. And Jimmy Garoppolo has played half the games that Kenny Pickett has.
Right.
And it's just like, that's a quarterback that's very confident in rhythm, very confident attacking all three layers of the field. And they just never did that in Pittsburgh. So
yeah, Tommy DeVito has the same number of touchdowns as Kenny Pickett.
Yeah,
it's ridiculous.
Touchdowns are a little bit deceiving, although that is just an A+ troll headline to just be able to tweet that bad boy out. Like that is just A+ bait right there for some good old fashioned engagement. But I would say like attempts and completion percentage, adjusted completion percentage, of course, of how efficient you are attacking these three areas of the field, whether it's outside the numbers on the left and right or it's over the middle. Attacking over the middle is really, really important because you have to be a team that stresses the defense out over the middle of the field. And again, I don't know if it's just Kenny Pickett or if it was a Matt Canada thing, but the Steelers did not do it. And that is what I'm really looking forward to seeing most with this offensive coordinator change. Does that also change in Pittsburgh? Because if it does, and they start having success over the middle of the field, then good Lord, they should have gotten rid of Matt Canada a long, long time ago. But if you don't have that, then you're just holding your passing offense back.
Yeah, it's a glaring weakness of this offense. Like they do not target the middle of the field, which is generally I think a bad thing. Like forget whatever period you're looking at. If you're simply not targeting one of like a significant area of the field, it's not good. It leaves a lot of meat on the bone. B, it's actively funneling the defense towards where you are targeting, so it makes everything harder. And right. I think that's only getting a bigger problem in this NFL, like today's NFL. All the best offenses, like the current schemes that are dominating, are doing the exact opposite. They are funneling things into the middle of the field. They're targeting it more than it's ever been targeted before. So the thing that your system is known for is the exact antithesis of what everybody else that's successful is doing right now. It's insane that hasn't adjusted at any point since he's had that job. And it's probably not a coincidence that every quarterback in that system has struggled. And, everyone's like Kenny Pickett has taken some crap recently because his numbers are not good. And because Tommy DeVito has the same number of touchdowns as him. And it's like, Kenny Pickett's the problem. He's not the answer anymore. Now, he might not be elevating it. He might not be overcoming the problem. But I think by far the first problem was Matt Canada's system, and now we're going to get a better idea of what Kenny Pickett and George Pickens and Calvin Austin and Deontay Johnson and Pat Freiermuth and Jalen Warren and like this good group of skill position players can actually achieve by themselves.
Yeah, and that's really important, right? I mean, if you have a quarterback who's struggling, you have offensive coordinator questions, especially for a quarterback that you drafted in the first round who's on the second year of a rookie deal, you got to figure out whether this guy's the guy or not, right? And I think that right now, there's a lot of people who are jumping off the Kenny Pickett train. They're saying like, hey, this is not the guy to lead this franchise. And there is at least a defense to say, well, it's not Kenny, it's Matt Canada. It's this offense. And what you can't have happen is you cannot get into year 3, year 4 of a rookie contract with a quarterback and still not know whether or not he's the guy. You have to be at least moving in the right direction for that to be the case. And this to me is a move where you do this to figure out what you have in Kenny Pickett. That's why you fire Matt Canada. Certainly it wasn't good enough in all facets. You want to continue to win football games. Like that's a part of it. But I wonder if this is maybe a decision that came from above Mike Tomlin, where it's like, hey, man, we drafted this quarterback in the first round. We still don't even know if he's the guy for us because this offense that he is operating in is so flawed. So you have to do what you need to do to figure out whether or not Kenny Pickett is the guy for us moving forward. And I think that maybe that is what spurns such a change in the middle of the season here for the Pittsburgh Steelers.